yourself. First, most men miss these hidden signs of attraction. Are you one of them? Introduction to the psychology of desire. Human attraction is a multifaceted phenomenon that extends far beyond overt behaviors or simple physical appearance. The psychology of desire explores how emotions, social signals, subconscious patterns, and evolutionary instincts interact to influence how we are drawn to and how we express that attraction. Women, like all humans, often communicate inner subtly, relying on a combination of nonverbal cues, verbal patterns, and psychological alignment rather than explicit statements. Misreading these cues is common because many interpret blindness, friendliness, or casual attention as clear sign of interest. Yet, true psychological attraction is often revealed through repeated patterns of behavior over time, rather than signal gestures. Understanding these patterns enhances emotional intelligence, interpersonal insight, and the ability to form meaningful, authentic connections. Moreover, recognizing the nuances of desire allows individuals to navigate social interactions more confidently, reducing misunderstandings and fostering a deeper relational engagement. Much of attraction operates beneath conscious awareness as subconscious signals manifest through motor expressions, minor shifts in posture, changes in voice tone, or fleeting facial gestures. These cues are often automatic and reflect genuine emotional engagement rather than a deliberate intent. For example, a woman might unconsciously lean slightly towards someone she finds engaging or mirror their gestures to create a sense of psychological alignment. Neuroscientific research points to the role of mirror neurons in enabling humans to resonate with the emotional states of others, facilitating empathy and rapport. Misinterpretation occurs when observers fail to consider the broader context or rely solely on a signal behavior as proof of attraction. To interpret these signals accurately, one must consider clusters of behaviors across multiple interactions, discerning patterns rather than isolated actions. By becoming attuned to these subtle cues, it is possible to recognize genuine interest while avoiding the projection of one's own desires onto another person. Eye contact is one of the most reliable indicators of attention and psychological engagement. Women often reveal interest through prolonged or repeated glances, subtle pupil dilation, and quick, recurring visual attention. Psychological studies suggest that eye contact activates neural pathways related to reward, trust, and emotional bonding, creating a sense of intimacy even without verbal communication. However, eye contact alone isn't a definitive indicator. Cultural norms, personality traits, and situational factors are influenced gaze patterns. Therefore, it's crucial to interpret eye behavior in conjunction with body language, facial expressions, and conversational engagement. Observing how frequently and in what context a woman maintains eye contact can reveal nuanced patterns of interest that go unnoticed by those relying on superficial observation. Developing this skill enhances social perception, emotional understanding, and the ability to recognize authentic engagement. Body language provides insight into subconscious attraction, often revealing interest more accurately than verbal communication. Women may unconsciously orient their torso towards someone they find engaging, lean in slightly during conversation, or mirror gestures to establish psychological rapport. These behaviors are rooted in evolutionary mechanisms designed to foster social cohesion and connection. Importantly, clusters of body language cues rather than isolated gestures provide the most reliable information. For example, leaning forward, mirroring movements, and maintaining relaxed but attentive posture collectively indicate engagement, whereas a second gesture and isolation may be misleading. Observing these cues across repeated interactions allows for accurate interpretation of underlying interest and emotional alignment. Mastering the reading of body language enhances interpersonal awareness, fosters a better communication, and helps navigate social dynamic effectively. Subscribe now to spot the signs women rarely show. Smiles and micro-expressions are powerful indicators of emotional state and engagement. Genuine smiles are known as Duchenne smiles, invite both the mouth and eyes, and are often subconscious indicators of positive emotion and interest. Women may smile frequently in response to shared humor, attention, or conversational engagement, reflecting genuine psychological attraction. In contrast, polite or social smiles may occur without emotional involvement. Micro-expressions, fleeting facial gestures that last only milliseconds can reveal hidden emotions such as curiosity, enjoyment, or subtle interest. Recognizing these signals requires a careful observation, attention to timing, and consideration of accompanying behaviors. While interpreting smiles and facial expressions accurately, one can gain insight into the subconscious mechanisms of interaction, emotional engagement, and interpersonal rapport. Even minimal or seemingly casual touches can convey interest and engagement. Women may lightly touch the arm, shoulder, or back during conversation as a subconscious way of establishing rapport or signaling attentional focus. As such, behaviors are grounded in evolutionary psychology and the human need for social connection, serving as a nonverbal communication of interest and comfort. Context is critical. Frequency, duration, and appropriateness all determine meaning. A fleeting touch during shared laughter often signals engagement via distinct gestures, and a professional or neutral setting may simply be friendly. Observing tactile cues in combination with body language, eye contact, and verbal behavior provides a holistic understanding of psychological interaction. The way someone speaks often communicates interest beyond the literal meaning of the word. Women may unconsciously vary pitch, cadence, or tone when interacting with someone they find engaging. Slightly melodic intonation, subtle delivery, or mirroring of vocal patterns reflect subconscious alignment and emotional resonance. Linguistic studies show that these subtle changes enhance rapport, empathy, and perceived connection. Misinterpretation arises when vocal nuances are evaluated in isolation without considering contextual and nonverbal cues. Understanding vocal behavior as part of the psychology of desire enables a more accurate reading of engagement, emotional investment, and interaction dynamics. Humor as a social and psychological bonding tool, shared humor functions as a key mechanism for fostering social bonds and signaling interest. Women may laugh more readily at jokes or engage in playful teasing as a subconscious method of establishing rapport. Humor triggers positive neural pathways, strengthens emotional connection, and can raise social alignment. Subtle forms of playful interaction can serve as indicators of psychological attraction, particularly when they involve repeated engagement and personalized humor. Correctly interpreting these signals requires attention to context, timing, and curiosity and isolated laughter or teasing may simply reflect social politeness rather than attraction. Active verbal engagement is a strong indicator of interest and investment. Women who are psychologically drawn to someone tend to ask thoughtful questions, provide detailed responses, and reflect on shared experiences. Active listening behaviors such as nodding, summarizing points, and offering empathetic feedback signal emotional attentiveness and cognitive engagement. These patterns are particularly significant because they demonstrate investment and interpersonal connection rather than superficial interaction. Observing conversational engagement over time allows for the identification of genuine psychological interest, distinguishing it from mere courtesy or social habit. Patterns matter more than isolated gestures. Consistency in attention, engagement, and solid behaviors often reflect genuine psychological interest. Women who consistently maintain eye contact, verbal responsiveness, and attentional focus across multiple interactions are more likely to demonstrate authentic interaction. Psychologists emphasize that repeated behavioral patterns reveal underlying motivation and emotional investment, while isolated acts may be situational or incidental. Recognizing and analyzing these consistent patterns is key to understanding the psychology of desire and avoiding misinterpretation based on isolated signals. Distraction is often communicated differently in group settings than in one-on-one interactions. Women may seek your attention, direct glances, or engage in side conversations to create connection while in a social group. Observing how behavior changes in group dynamics compared to individual interaction can provide insight into genuine interest. For example, laughter, eye contact, or participation in group activities directed toward one person more than others may indicate subconscious attraction. Evaluating these signals requires awareness of context, social norms, and relational patterns. Genuine curiosity is often an overlooked signal of attraction. Women who ask detailed questions about your life experiences and opinions are signaling attentional focus and interest. These questions reflect a desire for emotional and cognitive understanding, which is a cornerstone of psychological attraction. Repeated engagement through curiosity demonstrates a willingness to invest energy and understanding to indicating authentic interest rather than casual social interaction. Recognizing the difference between polite inquiry and deep curiosity is essential for accurate interpretation. Mirroring is a subconscious mechanism that signals psychological alignment and engagement. Women may subtly mirror your gestures, speech patterns, or posture, reflecting unconscious efforts to build rapport and synchronize interaction. This behavior is rooted in evolutionary psychology and serves to foster empathy. Comfort and connection. Accurate interpretation requires observing multiple mirrored behaviors over time. As a single mirrored action may be coincidental, understanding mirroring provides insight into subconscious expression and emotional resonance. Psychological attraction often involves emotional alignment. Women may respond empathically, share personal experiences, or express concern for your feelings as a reflection of engagement. This emotional resonance indicates sensitiveness and interest, providing subtle signals that are often subconscious. Recognizing patterns of emotional sharing and responsive allows for understanding the depths of psychological connection, which is a more reliable indicator than superficial social behavior. Like teasing jokes or playful challenges can function as subtle indicators of engagement. These behaviors often signal comfort, Essential focus on interest without explicit verbal acknowledgement. Context is crucial as playful interaction can also occur in purely social context. Evaluating frequency, consistency, and emotional tone of teasing helps distinguish between casual social play and psychological engagement. Complements that focus on personality, intellects, or achievements are often stronger psychological indicators of interest, and those focus on superficial traits. Women may place unique qualities to demonstrate attentional focus and appreciation, signaling cognitive and emotional investment. Observing patterns of meaningful compliments over time provide insight into underlying interaction, differentiating them from casual flattery. The timing of responses and communication, whether in conversation or digital interaction, can signal intentional prioritization. Women who consistently respond, remotely initiate contact, or maintain communication patterns are often demonstrating subconscious interest. Evaluating response behavior in the context of other cues enhances interpretation accuracy. Proximity often conveys attentional focus and comfort. Women may subtly position themselves closer or orient their bodies toward someone they find engaging. These cues combined with facial expressions, eye contact, and verbal engagement provide a reliable indication of psychological attraction. Women may unconsciously adjust posture, clothing, or gestures when interacting with someone they find intriguing. This adjustment serve to communicate attentiveness and enhance engagement without overt signals. Observing these micro behaviors can provide insight into subconscious interest, mimicking a speech tempo, intonation, or vocabulary is a subconscious way to align with another person. Women may mirror your speech patterns to signal attentional focus and psychological resonance, which is a solid indicators of engagement. Encouraging statements, nudge, and affirmations are nonverbal reinforcement that indicate attentional alignment and approval. These behaviors can serve as subtle markers of psychological engagement and attraction. Women who remember personal preferences or experiences demonstrate attentional focus and investment in connection. These behavior signals cognitive engagement and subtle attraction. Shared humor or inside jokes reinforces emotional connection. Women may use humor as a subtle signal of comfort, attentional alignment, and psychological resonance. Authentic laughter that engages the eyes often signal genuine engagement, while superficial laughter may indicate social politeness. Observing laughter patterns can provide insight into psychological interest. Matching emotional tone, such as mirroring excitement or concern, demonstrates psychological resonance. Women who synchronize their emotional resonance often indicate genuine interest. Suggesting joint activities or participation in shared experiences can serve as subtle markers of engagement. These behaviors indicate a desire for continued interaction and connection. To see the tutorial, just subscribe. Minor budgeting, hair touching, or adjusting clothing can occur when someone is subconsciously interested but slightly anxious. Recognizing these patterns contributes to understanding behavior signals of attraction. Observing differential attention in group settings, such as laughing more at your contributes or seeking your opinion, can indicate subtle psychological engagement. Women who maintain balance and turn taking show patience, and encourage deeper conversation, maybe subconsciously signaling interest. Leaning slightly closer during shared laughter or elongate gestures subtly can reflect attentional alignment and engagement. Unconscious grooming gestures such as adjusting hair or clothing can signal attentional focus and subtle attraction, demonstrating genuine curiosity about your perspective or reacting thoughtfully to your ideas indicates attentional and psychological engagement. Positive reinforcement through nonverbal signals, frequent nodding, affirming gestures, and subtle smiles reinforce attentional focus and indicate psychological alignment. Repeated behaviors over time rather than isolated gestures reliably indicate psychological engagement and interested. Observing without assumptions, the psychology of desire emphasizes observation, patience, and context awareness. Women communicate interest subtly, often subconsciously, through multiple interconnected behaviors. Accurately interpreting these cues requires combining eye contact, body language, verbal engagement, humor, and emotional alignment rather than relying on assumptions. Developing these observational skills enhances social intelligence, reduces misinterpretation, and provides a deeper insight into human interaction. By studying these behaviors carefully, one can navigate social dynamics more effectively and build meaningful interpersonal connections. Thank you for watching. See you soon.